Hello everybody, I'm Philip Duncan. Thank you for joining us. Well, we're tracking a very big high that is rolling in from Australia, and it's going to bring some very settled weather across New Zealand. In fact, it's already started to. Here's the southerly quarter winds on the animated wind map blowing across the country. It was a colder morning in the South Island. We've got a colder Wednesday night and Thursday morning coming for the North Island as a result of that southerly change. It's a bit more southeast around the North Island. That brings in the clouds and a couple of showers along the east coast. But the flip side is that these western areas, Auckland southwards, are spectacular. Very sunny day today. Similar story on the west coast as well, pretty lovely there. In fact, much of the South Island is looking pretty good, but a bit of cloud down around the south. So this is how we look as we get in towards Thursday. This big high really in charge of the country, and it's bringing mostly settled weather. It's going to be a colder morning in the North Island. It's probably just shy of a frost in many areas, but it will be much cooler than it has been over the last couple of days, and settled weather over the south means the winds are fairly light. Same story on Friday. It's another settled day across New Zealand with the high firmly in charge around the nation, but it goes downhill on Saturday. That's when the high starts to drift away from the South Island, and in comes the next rainmaker with a fair bit of wind and rain going through the South Island. The rain's on the west coast. It'll build across the day. The winds will pick up through the Southern Alps. They'll be pretty strong, might even reach gale force through the mountains, but for most of the places it's not looking too bad, and it should be fairly mild with the northwest winds coming down, and the North Island mostly dry, maybe a couple of isolated showers, but the high is still very much in charge of the North Island for Saturday. But it goes downhill on Sunday when the high slips to the north, and that front that was in the South Island makes it to the North Island in a much more weakened state though. So it'll be fairly dry, but then this patchy front comes through, and then late in the day another front heads towards the lower part of the South Island with another surge of wind and rain. So next week looks like this. This is how we kick off Monday of next week, and really a number of days next week. High pressure pushing through, westerly winds pushing across the country. Next week looks fairly dry for most of the North Island and the east of both, but still fairly wet in some of those western areas. That's the theme for much of next week. Now, the long range forecast suggests that we might be getting a subtropical low, a subtropical rainmaker by the following weekend, so about 10 days, 12 days from now. So we'll keep an eye on that. It's still a long, long way out, but just giving an indicator that while we are going into a drier period for a number of regions over the next week or so, we might still get topped back up again with a fair bit of rain coming in towards the middle of the month. That is all from me. We'll update you again around about lunchtime on Thursday.